Back at it again, and let me tell y'all something. Oh boy, I think we made a good choice in the Speaker of the House race because he just received a major endorsement. Like, share, comment, and hit that subscribe button if you are new. And let's dive in.
Yeah, and I mean, Ali Vitale, he's a skeptic of funding for our ally, Ukraine, in their hot war against Russia. He has views way outside. I mean, I hope they send him out of the campaign trail because his views on abortion are way outside the mainstream of Republican political thought on the other side of voters in Kansas and Ohio and other very, very red parts of the country. His views on democracy, again, to the right of Republican voters, his views on foreign policy to the right of the Republican voter. What were they thinking?
Well, Stuart Stevens said what I was also told by some folks who were starting to parse through the Mike Johnson record, which is he's Jim Jordan with a jacket and a smile. That's something that when you actually start parsing through the policy comes through very clearly, that this is someone who maybe without the publicity and fanfare is certainly working in lockstep on the same ideological and ethos ideas that people like Jim Jordan and Steve Scalise have been talking about over the course of the last several years. He just hasn't been doing it as often on Fox News. But this is who they ended up with. And I think it takes me back to yesterday when you and I were having this conversation, albeit at that point it was chaos because we didn't know who the speaker was going to be. At least now there is a speaker for the first time in over 3 weeks. But the conversation that you and I were having was that it's part and parcel to the Republican conference platform in the House right now to have anti-small d democratic values. And so it shouldn't be striking that the person that they put up for this job maybe wasn't cited all over the January 6th report, though there is at least one mention of him in there. But instead, he's someone who simply provided some of the attempted rationale for how to overturn an election. And I'm glad, frankly, that you played the clip from last night.
Also, I want to jump in here for a second because there's more that I want you guys to hear. But it's funny that, Democrats always yell and scream about democracy, 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 democracy. And when Republicans are voting to see who, they want, right? They say it's a horrible, terrible, no good, very bad thing. Make that one make sense. So democracy, the people get to choose, right? The Republicans are choosing, people are choosing who is going to be the speaker. That's all of a sudden a horrible, terrible, no good, very bad thing. And people it's a bad thing that people aren't just in lockstep in agreement on just one guy and just go with it. Everybody kisses behind and just go with one guy. It's a terrible thing that people are debating and disagreeing. They're telling you exactly who they are. Democrats, right? They're telling you exactly who they are. I've said time and time again, these guys are hypocrites. Hypocrites. At the least, right? That's the least thing.
Return an election. And I'm glad, frankly, that you played the clip from last night when they invited reporters in for a quote unquote press conference and then said no policy questions. But I tried similarly today when he walked down the very steps that I'm standing on right now and spoke with reporters for once again what they called a press conference and didn't take questions. I shouted quite loudly about whether or not he thought the 2020 election results were legitimizing for Biden and if he believed that Biden was the legitimately elected president of the United States. And he once again ignored those questions. And so I know that some people might say it's in the past, but certainly January 6th and 2020 loom so large over this building every single day. And now you have someone in the presidential line of succession who helped with that rationale in a key way that Republican members of Congress were using his legal bases that were, of course, flimsy and non-constitutional, but were trying to use them as their rationale for why they voted against certifying the election results. I think that that's extremely striking and speaks to where the party is right now. The other thing I would add, too, is President Biden was asked about this today, and he said no, he wasn't concerned about having someone like Speaker Johnson with the background he's had in the presidential line of succession. But candidly, Democrats around here don't share the president's view as far as I've heard it.
Ali, let me play you something that happened there when Congressman Aguilar nominated Leader Jeffries.
Yeah, we don't need to hear or see anything about Hakeem Jeffries. I think we've seen enough of that guy, and yeah, it's brutal listening to him and watching him speak, because it's always, you know, really dramatic when he speaks, because he takes these pregnant pauses and then he like really animates his hands. Oh my goodness, it's terrible listening to that guy speak. My goodness. I mean, a lot of people use their hands when they talk, you know what I mean? But then you add on top of that his pregnant pauses when he does, like, it's just like, come on, man. How long did you have to practice that? You know? This is absolutely ridiculous. But I've got another clip that I want you guys to watch to really paint this picture for you. Check it out.
There's a reason why rising to the rank of speaker takes years, usually, conventional wisdom, to get to that point, because you have to prove yourself. And one of the ways is by raising money. That is kind of an old school way, I think, of doing things now. It's clear the Republican Party is no longer interested in the way that things used to be. And the traditional way of rising to power is no longer by doing the things that you used to do in the past. It's now the two questions. Are you loyal to Donald Trump? And will you put forth the MAGA agenda? That's all that matters. And unfortunately, for the Republicans, the ones that are in Biden districts, the Biden 18.
Before she gets into that part, yes. So, yes, you do need to support Donald Trump. They make that sound like that's a bad thing, as if Republican voters haven't already spoken. Nobody in the Republican primaries are even close to Donald Trump. So, yes, once again, they always talk about democracy, and when the voters speak or when democracy is actually happening, they have a problem with it, which is just so backwards it makes no sense. Democracy is happening and the voters have spoken, and it's a problem that now the Speaker of the House is aligning with what the voters have said. What? Huh? Yes, you must support Donald Trump. Yes, you must have the MAGA agenda. Of course. More than 60% of Republicans have agreed with the MAGA agenda in Donald Trump. So I just have to call that out. You know, it's just, they're hypocrites, man. I tell you, this is crazy.
They are not thrilled, although they voted. The ones that are in Biden districts, the Biden 18, they are not thrilled, although they voted for him, but they are not thrilled that Mike Johnson is now the Speaker of the House, because they're not going to have that same support that they could get in the past from a Kevin McCarthy or more traditional Republican. And also they're going to be that's going to be a albatross hung around their necks, as it should be. I will continue to tell my Democratic friends, please use this as an albatross, the way Republicans use Nancy Pelosi. And in this case, at least, it's more credible that Mike Johnson is a threat to our democracy. This guy's a Christian nationalist. We should all be very alarmed to our democracy. This guy's a Christian nationalist. We should all be very...
Christian nationalist. Okay. All right. Being a Christian is a problem these days. Take note of that.
Very alarmed by his beliefs and the fact that MAGA has risen to power. You have a MAGA Speaker of the House. That is an extension of what Donald Trump is trying to do by pushing forth an authoritarian government here in this country. And people need to pay attention.
Republicans are trying to push forth an authoritarian agenda in this country. Hold on, let me think here. So it was Democrats who fired people for not taking the, they said take it or leave your job. Okay. So they got rid of people's ability to provide for their families because they didn't listen to them. Okay. But Republicans are authoritarian. It's Democrats who say, you're not allowed to say X, Y, and Z thing, criticizing X, Y, and Z people. Otherwise, you get ostracized and we're going to make sure you lose your job. But it's Republicans that are authoritarian. Right. Democrats say, if you don't agree with us, you are a far-right extremist, you are a terrorist, you are a cell, right? You need to be on the FBI's most wanted list. And we talked about that story. or watch list, I should say, not most wanted list, on the watch list for terrorists. If you don't agree with us and you're a far-right extremist who needs to be ostracized and, in the words of the Wicked Witch of the West, okay, you need to be yelled at in public, and they should let you know that you're not welcome whenever they see you out in public. But Republicans are the authoritarians in this country. Right. Okay. I think I'm catching on. I think. Do I have the right mindset? Y'all let me know in the comment section, please. Maybe I'm like going off in left field or something. I don't know. I might be lost.
Taken by the fact that Mike Johnson has an affable personality. Okay, these are the most dangerous types. MAGA Mike Johnson, there's a reason why they call him that. And pay attention to what he says and what he does. His inexperience here may have gotten him the speaker's gavel because he didn't have the same relationships or bad blood with other members of Congress, and they just got exhausted. But that's what authoritarians do. They wear their opponents down and they give in. So you can...
Oh... Just like what Joe Biden and everyone is doing now, where they are wearing us down and trying to make it so that we get used to a lower standard of living, so much so now that they're telling us that everything is fine, including a clip from, I believe it was Joy Behar, I could be wrong, who said that she doesn't understand why people don't feel like the economy is doing great. Like they're just trying to trick us into thinking everything is okay. You know, kind of wear us down, like she just described there, into thinking that, oh yeah, this is just the way of living. Okay, you know, I just want to make sure I'm understanding her correctly. I don't want to misinterpret her words wrong. Okay,
and they give in. So you cannot appease authoritarianism. And Mike Johnson, as the Speaker of the House, is one step further toward that appeasement. Do not normalize this man.
We made a great choice, guys. Obviously, not my first choice. I'm sure not a lot of your first choices. Honestly, I didn't even know who Mike Johnson was. Leftist media is correct on saying that nobody knew who Mike Johnson really was, except for his constituents, of course. But the rest of us had no clue. Now, is he the MAGA representative that I would have liked? No. I would have preferred, honestly, now that I think about it, I think Byron would have been perfect. Absolutely perfect. Not only because of his Liberty score, which I don't know if I still have that tab open. I might have that tab still open. I doubt it. Oh, yes, I do. It's right here. Not only was he perfect on his Liberty score, as you can see here, Byron Donalds, votes to liberals, 0%. Grade is an A, okay? A. But I think he absolutely would have been perfect for Republicans. He's a no-nonsense type of guy, right? Nobody's going to bully him, all right, like Mike Rogers tried to do to Matt Gaetz. We talked about that whole situation when it went down. I guarantee you he wouldn't do that to Byron. Guarantee you that wouldn't happen. Oh, man, for a multitude of reasons, right? One being Byron probably would have knocked his behind out. You know what I'm saying? Byron's not a little guy. He doesn't seem like the type of guy that'd go for the foo-foo, you know, the craziness, all right? Byron looks like, he looks like the type of guy that would, like, look at Mike Rogers like, you serious? Like, you really want the smoke? You really want these problems? Like, he wouldn't really say a whole lot, but he looks like one of the guys that just would have that look on his face. Like, is this guy serious? Okay, well, all right, let's get it on then. You know, but maybe I'm reading Byron wrong. If anybody knows Byron, okay, let me know. Let us all know in the comment section, all right? But yes, Byron would have been a perfect Speaker of the House, regardless of, you know, his experience. I think his inexperience would have been a great thing for, you know, democracy, right? Even though we live in a constitutional republic. But I do think it would have been a great thing for this country because he's not beholden to any lobbyists or big money donors the same way that some other folks are. right, that have allegedly received some of these donations and funds from, some of these rich lobbyists and things. So, I think that would have been a great thing personally. I would have settled for Jim Jordan, would have liked that as well. But, we didn't get either pick, but also the establishment didn't get their pick either. McCarthy obviously got the boot. Patrick McHenry didn't rise to power either. Okay, Steve Scalise got the boot. And Tom Emmer as well didn't get his shot at it either. So, a little bit of a compromise, but we are moving in the correct direction, which is something that I love to see. And I love to see MSNBC and, mainstream media going crazy over the Speaker of the House choice, because it lets me know that we made the right choice. When they're going, if they were silent about Mike Johnson, if they were saying the way, you guys remember the clip of Hakeem Jeffries, and he was talking about there's some great Republican patriots over there. Patrick McHenry is one of them. I believe he said Patrick McHenry is one of them. Like, that would worry me. That's one of the reasons why I didn't like Patrick McHenry. If you got people like Hakeem Jeffries praising you, giving you kudos, don't want you. I want somebody who's going to make the left lose their mind. And so far, Mike Johnson has been that guy. But as always, y'all let me know in the comment section below what you think about all of this. Do you think this is good, bad? Are you indifferent about it? How are you feeling? Talk to me. Peace and love, family. I'm out.